Hi, fellow gardeners. Welcome to Garden with Jenny. I'm Jenny. It's been a super long time since you've heard from me. Probably since May or June. What a horrible YouTuber I am. So we moved to PA. Well, okay, we got married. This is my engagement ring because I lost a stone from my wedding band and I haven't gotten it fixed yet. So Sean and I got married while we were out in Wyoming, and we left working at the golf course out there and moved back east. So now we're in Pennsylvania. He works at a golf course that's about 20 minutes away from where we live. And I'm currently in the application process and the interviewing process for a job at one of the local nurseries near our home. It's like a half an hour drive, but it's not that bad. It's a huge place with the company has a growing operation as well as doing their retail stuff, which is pretty cool. But so since, I haven't been active, I want to show you some of the plants that I have right now, my house plants, because my parents, when I was out in Wyoming, they brought them out to me and I never got to show you them, because I got rid of a bunch when I moved. I gave them away to my friends, and pardon the look, this is the Homemaker Jenny look sweatshirt. I'm wearing a Penn State sweatshirt because that's my husband's alma mater. And I just wanted to kind of give you a look at what I have. So let me flip the camera around and you'll be able to see. Okay, so there's our lovely recycle bin and garbage bin. This is the yard that we actually have in the condo type setup that we're staying in. So we're in charge of taking care of the landscape. So Sean's going to do all the grass, and I'm going to take care of all the flower beds. So they actually extend up around the side of the building past our garbage area here, which I know is not very attractive, but you can see there's some shrub up there that has some winter damage and stuff, because the temperatures have been really fluctuating this winter. It's different than Buffalo, which we've actually had more snow in this area than they usually do, but, we must have brought it with us. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a showing about this because I'm going to be taking care of this. So I want to trim up. There's actually a rose plant that goes up over the top of this arbor that I want to get trimmed up so that it looks nice and fills out on the arbor itself. There's a bunch of different hydrangeas that are planted around the yard. I'm not sure about all the other shrubs. And we have some iris down here. You can see them if you see past my this reflection of my orchid here, but there's some iris down there that are already popped out, and there's weeds that are already popped up because we had some 70-degree days this week, which is insane. So this is my African violet. Look at how beautiful and bloom she is. I'm trying something new by watering her from the bottom, and I need to be careful to make sure that I'm watering it thoroughly enough. Oh, look at my flowers fading now. This has been in bloom for probably about a month now, and the flowers have just been quite abundant and beautiful. This is my first African violet I've ever owned, so I'm pretty happy with her. And then here's my one orchid that I brought from Buffalo. She was pretty sad in Buffalo because I didn't have a window for her to be in because of my cats and stuff, and plus we didn't really have windows that were going to be beneficial to have enough light for it. So right now I have it in a southeastern type window, which is too much exposure during the summertime, but right now, because it's winter and the light rays aren't as strong and it's lower towards the horizon, I can get away with having it in this window because the intensity isn't as much as it is in the summer. Once it becomes summertime, I'll have to take it off of the windowsill and put it probably next to the window where it's not going to get direct light, but it'll get that indirect bright light from the window. And then this orchid, Sean actually bought this for me for Valentine's Day. It was one of my Valentine's Day gifts because he knows I love them. And they were pretty cheap from the Giant grocery store, which is like Tops up in Buffalo. But probably down south would maybe be like, oh geez, I don't even know. Like Winn-Dixie. So that's kind of what Giant is like. So it was cute. It's in a sleeve inside the pot. So you can see there's some green roots in there because I had just watered him. So when you check your orchids for water, you want those roots to be silver before you water. Because a lot of times, like, you don't want to overwater your orchids because they're epiphytes, so they like their roots to dry down in between waterings pretty good. So, but that's a beautiful, I wish this guy stood up. But this guy's been in bloom since the beginning of January. He opened one bud, and I was like, ooh, one bud, and then all the other ones opened, and I was really excited. It's a beautiful variety. I don't know the variety of it, but I really enjoy them. And then, so these are my other houseplants that I was able to keep, and I purchased the cyclamen, which his flowers are fading because it's warm. Cyclamen like cooler temperatures, and we keep our house at like 68, 70, which is a little bit warmer than what they actually like. So his flowers are now starting to fade, and I might be letting him sit a little too wet because we've got some of these yellowing leaves. But that could also be because when I bought this, I didn't check the bulb. I think it's a corm. I think the cyclamen has a corm. I'm not sure. It's one of those. You know, they're all like, I don't know what the difference is. I have a degree and I don't know what the difference is, but whatever. So it's supposed to be situated slightly above the soil line, and I actually think they have it planted underneath the soil line, which when that happens, sometimes that bulb, corm, or tuber, whatever it is, can rot, and that's not good for plants. Can you refocus? Thanks. So because of that, it's making it a little bit difficult for me to water it. So once, and it could also be because it's so warm in here, and because it was warm this week, it's putting it in, it's starting to go dormant, which you would cut all the foliage back and let it sit in dry soil until you're ready to have it reemerge, which usually I don't think that happens until later in the season when the temperatures get really warm. But we'll see. It's the first time I've ever owned a cyclamen. It looks pretty good still. You know, I've got a few leaves here and there that aren't happy, but, you know, that's bound to happen. Here's my peace lily. She looks pretty good. I don't name them, but I end up giving them he or she pronouns, which is, we used to joke in the greenhouse that people who did that were crazy. So apparently I've gone crazy. But I've got a little bit of new growth in there. There's, these leaves look pretty nice. I've only got one leaf right now that shows that I believe it was sitting wet, because see this leaf edge has an irregular blob on it, which usually when you have irregular blobs on the edges of your leaves, it usually means that it's sitting wet. When the tips are brown, it's usually it's sitting dry, or there's a fluoride or salt issue or a fertilizer issue. So I try and leave it on the drier side now, which I think is what which is what this tip is. I don't think it's fluoride. So you can see my snake plant. Pretty slow growing. Looks the same as it did probably when I showed the video the first time. Lori gave me that when we were working in the greenhouse together because one snake plant had busted in its pot. She repotted this baby and gave it to me. Here's my croton. She's cruising pretty good. You know, look at this big leaf. I can't tell if it's trying to push out new growth in the center yet. Not yet. It doesn't look like it. I haven't been really fertilizing because it's wintertime, you know, they don't need it. And then here's my other two orchids. So, I'm getting much bigger leaves since I took it to Wyoming and put them in a nice sunny window. So when they're in the sunnier window, they get bigger leaves. Because you can see this lower leaf here. This was in back from, and this one here is even a little small, back from when it was in Buffalo. And you can tell because the leaves are so much smaller than this one's huge, that it wasn't getting enough light. And same with some of these lower leaves. You got this little guy, he's so small. And now we've got this nice big juicy leaf here. That all has to do with lighting for those Phalaenopsis orchids, which I think are going to be my favorite orchid. Maybe because they're simple, but maybe not. I don't know. And then down here, I'm getting ready to do some seed planting. Within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to get some Hungarian wax peppers going, some cherry tomatoes, and then some California Wonder Bell green peppers. I love these. So tasty. And these are good for hot pepper sandwiches with like garlic. And you put them on like a cast iron griddle, and you put them on the grill and cook them up. Char them a little bit. slap them on some, what kind of bread is that she uses? I don't know if it's Vienna bread, or if she just uses, no, I don't think it's rye. I think it's Vienna bread. And you make sandwiches with it with like olive oil, garlic, and then the peppers. It's really good. I bought these packs from a local nursery called Esmond Shades, which is actually where I'm interviewing right now. So I hope that I get that job. These are on sale for $1. So I bought 2 of them, and they come with the peat pots, some peat pellets, so that you can you add moisture to the pellet, and then it expands into soil inside the pot. Which also comes with a little thing of Espoma plant food, which is pretty exciting. Which obviously you wouldn't use until the plants start to get bigger. You don't use really a whole lot of. I don't usually ever fertilize my seedlings because they're so fragile. You can burn the roots really easily. So I got 2 packs of those. This is just the tray I brought it home in. That was when I bought my cyclamen. And then this Dynagrow Orchid Pro was when I worked at Menny's back in Buffalo. So I've had that a while, and I've fertilized a handful of times, not even this winter, because, you know, my orchids, they're in bloom. So I wanted to make sure that I gave my little orchid some fertilizer, and I actually used the Orchid Pro food on the violet because I don't have violet food, which I'm probably not supposed to do because I know violets have their own specific food, but hey, I made sure it was a diluted amount so that I wasn't causing too much damage in case it was too powerful, because I don't have a whole lot of research at hand right now about, well, I didn't look it up. It's at hand. I can look it up online, but I just didn't look it up. And since I had the Orchid Pro food, I used it in a lighter quantity as to not over fertilize that violet, because I know violets are pretty sensitive. And then some leaf shine because my leaves are getting a little dusty. I've done 1 shine through. They say not to leaf shine the bottoms of your leaves because it can close the stomata and decrease gas exchange and transpiration. But I use it because it makes the tops of my leaves shiny, and then it's just a cute little watering can followed by some of Sean's tools. But I need to get, I'm going to turn you around again. So I was going to go yesterday with Sean, but he's not feeling well, and he's at work right now, and he's still not feeling that great. So I was going to go and get grow lights, but I think I'm going to wait until this week, and then I'll go and get them myself. I just want to get a small, like one thing of grow lights that has 2 tubes, and a stand so that I can put my seeds over on my kitchen counter. Because this place is great. It has quite a bit of counter space. There's quite a bit of room in here. We've made it a home. You know, we've been here since the middle of October. And this place is really beautiful. I like this place a lot. And then next to me is Sean's Bearded Dragon's tank. So in addition to having this natural light here, they're getting heat and UV rays and stuff from Bow Dragon's lighting system. And I'm sorry, I want to finish this video before Sean gets back because he's gonna be like, what are you doing? So they're getting heat here as well, which could be adding to my cyclamen. Plus there's a heater like right up here, not directly over my plants, but it's next to the window, so that could be attributing to some of the symptoms that are showing from the cyclamen, but most of it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy. And I've been trying to put it in the windowsill on really sunny days so that I can get that soil to dry out better, because, you know, a lot of times during the wintertime, the air is so stagnant in the house, and there's a fan above me with a lighting unit. I never have it on, really, because I'm cold during the wintertime, especially my feet. So I know that the fan can disperse warm air through the room, but I don't like the breeze on me. So I don't usually have the fan on during the wintertime. Except the other day, I had all the windows open because it was 70-some degrees outside, 76, and it was beautiful, and I was like, spring, but it's still February. So, yeah. It was nice. I walked outside. I was sick. I got sick, and then I got Sean sick, which I tried really hard not to. So I walked outside when I wasn't feeling good and was just looking around because it was so warm, and I had a long sleeve shirt on, and it was 70 degrees out, and I was like, ooh, the sun feels so nice on my back, And I wanted to be out in the yard doing stuff, but because I was sick, I wanted to take it kind of easy. And plus, it's not like you can't plant anything up here in February. I mean, you could, but you really risk damage to anything you plant unless it's dormant. And I didn't want to do any of that. Plus, I wasn't leaving the house, so I didn't have anything to plant anyways. But you know, pretty soon I want to get out there. I want to get I think Sean wants to bring home a leaf blower from the golf course and blow all the leaves out so we can get them all out of the beds. Then I can start weeding and stuff, because when we moved in, there was quite a bit of weeds in the yard. And I want to get some pruning done, and I want to get this rose situated on this arbor, because it's going to look pretty cool, I think. If I can get it to look the way I want it to, which might not happen in the year that we're here or however long that we're here. But it's worth a try. And I think that's about all I can say for right now. I don't want to make the video too long with me rambling on about stuff, because I do tend to ramble, and I just rambled for a long time there. For Christmas, I want to just add this. Sean had gotten me the Penn State Master Gardener manual type deal, which has chapters on bugs and plants and everything that's good for this area of Pennsylvania, like for Pennsylvania as a whole, which is good because it's slightly different. You know, we're slightly farther south and closer to the ocean than Buffalo was. You know, Buffalo is by the lakes there. So now we're a little bit closer to the ocean, a little bit farther south. So we're probably a zone 6 now, whereas we were zone 5 up in Buffalo. And usually a lot less snow than what Buffalo gets. Buffalo gets a lot of snow, which I thought was like normal for everywhere in the Northeast, but apparently because of the lakes being there, it's like a crazy amount of snow that Buffalo gets. And you know, here we get snow. It was here for a few days and then it's gone, and then, you know, the cycle kind of repeats. So it's not snow all winter long, which I'm not used to. And I'm sorry that I didn't really get to post any actual me talking in videos out in Wyoming, except for that one. That's because our internet was really bad out there. We had like 10 megabytes download speed, which was like 1 megabyte upload, and here we have 5 megabytes upload and like 50 download. So it's better here. It's similar to what I had back at my mom and dad's house, so it's good. And I think that's about it. So when I figure out what's going on with this job, I will make a plan to do my yard work and set up some videos for you guys, and maybe even take you to the nursery and film a little video at one of the nurseries or whatever, if they let me. I don't know. The place that I used to work at back in Buffalo closed this January at the beginning, which was sad for me, because I had made a lot of friends there, and now they don't have jobs. But one of my friends, she went out and she asked permission from the owners of Menny's if she could take care of their interior landscape accounts that they had, because Jen used to do that while she was working there. And they said yes. So she opened a job, you know, or not opened a job. She opened her own business to do interior plant maintenance, to take over those accounts. And I'm really proud of her. I think that's really great that she went out and did that. I believe her company name is Plantera, which is pretty cool. She painted her own logo on her shirt and stuff, which is sweet. I'm really, really excited for her to be on this adventure for herself. So I think that about does it for right now, folks, because we're approaching the 20-minute mark, and that's a really long video for me just blah, blah, blah. So I apologize for being gone, but thanks for watching.